Please, 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 WWE, can we not go down this rabbit hole again? Okay, this rabbit hole I speak of is their Survivor Series formatting. Alright, Survivor Series, for many years, was just one of the regular Big Four pay-per-views. They did some big blow-off matches to feuds at Survivor Series. They had an Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series in 2002. They'd have the big 4-on-4 or the big 5-on-5 feud where you'd have Team Orton against Team whoever he's feuding with, or you'd have Team HBK versus Team this guy, and it'd be a big thing. You'd have a big feud, have another chapter, go down with a big Survivor Series match featuring a bunch of big-time stars. That's how Survivor Series was. And nowadays, Survivor Series is this just mess. And what I mean by that is they go down the rabbit hole of doing the Raw vs. SmackDown stuff. The Raw guys fighting for the red brand against the blue guys who bleed blue, defending SmackDown on Fox, defending the Fox executives. And the whole thing's just a bit of a joke. Now, I made a video a year ago about this. A few of you might remember that one. It was a bit, poor quality, as was most of my stuff in 2020. But I made the whole video about how it doesn't make sense. And what I mean by it doesn't make sense is the fact that the WWE do a draft in October, and then in November, literally 5 weeks after the draft, if that, you have a Survivor Series pay-per-view where you have Monday Night Raw superstars, half of which have been Raw guys for literally 2 or 3 weeks, vehemently defending red and bleeding red against the evil SmackDown, with a bunch of SmackDown guys who, just like the Raw guys, half of them have been on SmackDown for 3 weeks. And us as fans, we're supposed to believe, and we're supposed to, for some godforsaken reason, buy into this vehement, passionate, personal brand versus brand rivalry, brand versus brand supremacy. The whole timing of the draft itself doesn't make any sense. Has anyone really made this point? I'm sure some people have, but the fact that they do the draft now, at the beginning of October, why? Why is that? Because, you have WWE, you look at the WWE, per fiscal year, I think that's the word, the calendar-wide year of WWE, when do you think they should put a draft? Open question, comment this down below if you want to answer for sure. When should they put a draft? I feel like the week after WrestleMania, or the week after SummerSlam. But to me, the week after WrestleMania seems ideal. Really, this year especially, WrestleMania 37 felt like the ending of a chapter. It felt like the ending of WWE's year-to-year WrestleMania cycle as it was. And it felt like a great time to do the draft in a few weeks after WrestleMania. That would have been good. And then you would have had those guys get picked and moved their different shows in April. It makes April and May a bit more fresh. Because in reality, what we got in April and May was literally just rematches from WrestleMania, and it was so dry, it was not funny. What you could have done is on the draft in April, have a whole special draft show in the middle of April, then let the guys get accustomed to themselves in late April, May, and then you can build up to SummerSlam with the big storylines, crowds come back, you can do storylines with the Heat. Instead of doing that, WWE persists with this yearly do the draft in October bit, which I've never understood this. I really don't. Why is there a season premiere for Raw? Why is there a season premiere for SmackDown in the second week of October? Why the second week of October? You're 2 weeks away from bloody Crown Jewel. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Wouldn't it make more sense if you're gonna have a draft, have it after WrestleMania? But this is WWE, so what they do is have the draft literally the first week of October, have season premieres a week or 2 into October, random as hell, have a Saudi show 2 weeks later, and then literally a month after that, they've got Survivor Series, where, as I alluded to earlier in this video, you've got someone like Drew McIntyre, who for literally, what's it been, 3 years? About 3 years, has fought and given his heart and soul for Monday Night Raw. He's been the flag bearer for Raw in the heart of a global pandemic. Drew McIntyre's bled red this whole time. And now we're expected to believe, based on the current Survivor Series format, as they do every year, that Drew McIntyre he just absolutely bleeds blue, and he would give his absolute all. He'll give his heart and soul for Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. Like, I don't get it. And then I look at last year. This is the point I made in last year's video, but I feel the need to recap this. Last year, the WWE draft, look at Team Raw and last year's WWE draft. Team Raw, as far as last year's Survivor Series, Team Raw was AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. Out of that team of 5 last year for Team Raw, 4 of the 5 were on SmackDown and were SmackDown superstars literally a month prior. AJ Styles, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. Those were the upper mid-carders / main eventers for SmackDown literally a month prior. And yet, they do a draft, and then a month later, they're fighting for their lives for Monday Night Raw. Like what is that, dude? Like, what is that? And then, not to mention, the champion versus champion format. I know with Survivor Series, usually the whole thing nowadays with this Survivor Series format is essentially, let's just have some fun, more fresh, like, one-off matchups. Let's not really do any, like, real storylines for Survivor Series. Let's not continue storylines and blow off feuds or anything with these big 5-on-5 matches or 3-on-3 elimination matches or anything like that. No, let's not do that. Let's instead have an interesting, quote-unquote, dream match that 15 people on wrestling Twitter have called a dream match, and now all of a sudden there's apparently some must-see, amazing dream match. Like, let's, for instance, this year do, I don't bloody know, whoever the Raw Tag Champs are versus whoever the SmackDown Tag Champs are. So, the Usos versus insert Team X, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions. Like, oh my god, what a really good fun match on paper. Or, you look at the Women's Champions. We're going to do Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair for the, Raw vs. SmackDown Women's match. And it's like, okay. And where's the hate? Like, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, that's my general kind of, I guess, mini, I guess you call it a rant, just kind of mumble about Survivor Series. They need to change the format. To have the format be a wrestling show, just like all the others, where you try and blow off feuds, you try and progress storylines, you try and generate things which have hate, and you do that with the Survivor Series 4-on-4s, the Survivor Series 5-on-5s, you make it a fun Survivor Series filling show, instead of just, oh, well, it's November, so that means we're going to chuck Drew McIntyre in a Friday Night SmackDown singlet and have him punch, I don't even know, who is even on Raw now? I'm that out of the loop. We're gonna have Big E in a Monday Night Raw singlet defending the might of his red brand, and it's like, bruh, like, Big E's been a Raw guy for literally 2 months, and we're supposed to believe he truly bleeds red. Like, come on. And, like, Big E isn't even a good example. Like, there aren't that many guys. Like, you have, for instance, the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic Mysterio, present Monday Night Raw superstars in the big 5-on-5 Raw vs. SmackDown men's match, and they're vehemently defending the pride of Raw, of which they've been on the brand 3 weeks and been on SmackDown the previous 3 years. They're vehemently defending Raw against evil SmackDown superstars. Like, take your pick, you get my point, So, hopefully they change the dynamic. The Survivor Series, it's just, you gotta change that. That's crap, dude. Like, no, like, why should anyone care? Like, it's hard to make these wrestlers, these 40-year-old men and women who are, well, mainly the men are 40, the women are like 30, but the 40-year-old men who are being paid $600,000 a year to do some performances on a children's program, it's hard to make us believe that they're genuinely invested in their brands as is, but let alone doing the draft 3 weeks prior. I mean, come on, are you even trying? So, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, sub, you know the drill.